Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 336 once again for episode 178 and the very first episode of the 815 Exchange here in 2024. It is also January 1st. It literally is New Year's Day, so yeah, just gotta fit in. We've had back-to-back holiday-themed episodes. Last week, I filmed on Christmas Eve, and of course, it was Christmas on Monday when I released it. And here we are today. It is New Year's Day, which has implications big time in college football, of course, which we will talk about in the headlining segment to kick off the first episode of the year. And of course, we got stuff to talk about in the NFL. People clinched, people are frauds. You know, we always got that to talk about. We got the NBA, the Pistons. We'll talk about the Pistons. And of course, we got some stuff to talk about in the Roundup as well. World Juniors, everything going on there. A little bit to talk about in entertainment. We got a full segment. Happy New Year's to everybody. I will say, I am so glad to see this year come because 2023 was a dreadful year. I mean, it's a year I will value. Don't get me wrong, I will value 2023 and all the lessons that came with that year. But it was an absolutely dreadful year for me. So I am ecstatic. Alright, I am ecstatic for 2024. So yeah, hopefully we kick it off on a good note with a good show. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight to it. CFB, college football. It has been over 2 months, maybe 2.5 months, well over, I think, 5 shows since I have last talked about the USC Trojans in a positive context. It has been many months, last year, since I talked about my team with some happiness. But ladies and gentlemen, I come to you 12:11 p.m. on the East Coast, January 1st, 2024, and I am happy to be a USC Trojan because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we've done it. We did it. We did it. Woo! Alright, everybody told me, you know, we had to hear all year long about how Lincoln Riley can't develop anybody, apparently, right? Especially these past couple months. Lincoln Riley is a dog coach. He can't, develop anybody, not even quarterbacks. And what do you know? Miller Moss, who stuck with it, Jay Garcia, Jackson Dart, Caleb Williams, stuck with USC because it was his dream. And what did he do? In the Holiday Bowl, set a bowl game record, 372 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, but it was Miller time in full effect for the USC Trojans as they take out the number 15th ranked Louisville Cardinal and get the bowl win to cap off what was a tumultuous season for the Trojans, but what a way to end it. Miller Moss is QB1. Will Howard, no disrespect, we don't need you. Malachi, I love you, but if this is what Miller's been doing, I understand why you leaving. But I ain't mad at it. Miller Moss looked like QB1. He was dealing not only that, but besides, by the way, shout out to Taj Washington. He had 7 receptions, 99 yards, and not 1, but 2 touchdowns in this game. He's been our lead receiver all year. First receiver under the Lincoln Riley regime to go over 1,000 yards. So yeah, shout out to Taj. Did a lot of great stuff for his draft stock in this game, but also throughout the year. But it was the young guys. Jacoby Lane was great in this game. 360, 2 touchdowns. I think Mekhi Lemon got a touchdown in this game. Deuce Robinson got a touchdown in this game. It was great. It was great to see the young guys get to step up in this game. Jalen Smith, who will definitely be back next year. He had 12 tackles. He gets defensive MVP in this game. It was a near perfect game. All right, it was one of the funnest games of the year as a USC fan, even though it wasn't perfect by any means. But my goodness, all right, it felt good. It felt good to have some success against a good opponent in Louisville. Everybody's like, oh, the ACC, blah, 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 blah. Louisville was a ranked team for a reason. But, yeah, it feels very good. It feels very good to have a little bit of hope going into the offseason. Recruiting class isn't that great, but still, this is it should be a big transfer class, so hoping for the best, but yeah, fight on, man. Fight on. What a way to end the season. Alamo Bowl. Let's talk about some of the as we get closer and closer to me talking about the playoffs. Let's creep in. All right, let's creep in. Alamo, Oklahoma. Man, what a funny way for me to go about this. USC and then to our arch enemies. Yeah, Arizona took care of them. Took care of them. Simply put, they dominate this game. From 38-24 makes this game look in my opinion, a little bit closer than it was. All right. Noah Fafita was the best freshman quarterback this year in college football. 354 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. No disrespect once again to JDL, but if Fafita is starting from game 1, ain't no telling. Ain't no telling what this Wildcats team could have done. And boy, oh boy, do they look good coming in for next year, especially when they're getting guys like T-Mac back, McMillan, 10 receptions, 160 yards. Jacob Cowing, 7 receptions, 152, 2 touchdowns. That Arizona team is a dark horse next year. I don't know where. Are they going to the Big 12 next year, by the way? Because I don't think they're following us to the Big 10. Wherever they're going, they are going to be a dangerous team. They made an example out of Oklahoma, and they were honestly one of the hottest teams in college football through the stretch of this season. They might actually... Did they finish on a winning streak? One of y'all can let me know. They may have finished on a 6-game winning streak, because I can't remember the last time they lost. All right? Especially us talking about them. They have been phenomenal. Fafita was a terror for opposing defenses throughout the rest of the season. Also give a shout out to Gunnar Maldonado. He had a 9-tackle pick 6 performance as well. Jackson Arnold. We saw some of the things that makes him Jackson Arnold, but we also saw him very much so look like a freshman quarterback and not in the way that Noah Fafita has. It was a struggle. All right, it was a struggle for Arnold. This was very visibly his first start. 361. You're like, okay. 2 touchdowns. You're like, okay. We can work with that. But he turned the ball over 4 times in this game. Had 3 interceptions. Entirely too much. Entirely too much. All right, I don't want to say he was shook, but he was a little bit shook. Okay, that Arizona defense was giving him a little bit of issues. Reading again, he's a freshman, first start in a bowl game. Not the easiest task. I'm sure Jackson Arnold will be fine. I'm not writing him off. But it was not a great game for him. Gavin Sawchuk continues to be great. Speaking of freshmen, 134 yards and a touchdown. He should have been the running back starting day 1. But maybe easing him in was the right choice because now he's been phenomenal. One of the best running backs, honestly, in the country down the stretch for, anybody. Not just Oklahoma. Kendall Dobie, by the way, had 2 sacks in this game. But like I said, Arizona is dangerous, and they get the win in the Alamo. The Gator Bowl. The Gator Bowl. This wasn't like, it wasn't like a caliber of like the New Year's Six or anything, right? Like the games that are going on today, by the way, that I cannot talk about. Like LSU, Wisconsin's on right now. But, boy, oh boy, the 4th quarter of this game. All right, Clemson, Kentucky. 36 points in the 4th quarter. 36. Insanity. Okay? This game was absolute insanity in the 4th quarter. It got to that point where you realized that there was no defense going to be played in that 4th quarter. It was one of those games where you could just tell that the air shifted. Where it was like, yeah, they about to go back and forth. They about to go toe-to-toe for it. And that is exactly what happened. But Clemson is able to hold on 38-35 and get the win. Phil Maffa. Listen, Will Shipley, by the way, gave his body. All right, some thought he wasn't even going to play in this game. He gave his body to this team on that return to set them up to get that go-ahead. And, wishing the best for Will. Hopefully it's not too serious. I think he's going to be a really good pro. Phil Maffa, I also think is going to be a really good pro, especially as like a short yardage back. He's one of those guys, Maffa, that seems to always fall forward. Like, I've never seen Maffa, such a strong, powerful back. Like, I never see him getting pushed backwards or getting, he always falls forward. He's always getting positive yardage. So, yeah, shout out to Phil Maffa. He had a great year, a breakout year. He had a breakout game. 4 touchdowns in this game for him. Cade Cunningham did not have his finest game, but did enough. Came through clutch as well. Jake Brenningstone looked like the tight end in the future for Clemson. 9 receptions, 91 yards that he was recruited to be. Devin Leary, of course, in his 15th game versus Clemson in his career, as he is a former NC State quarterback. And honestly, this was the most Leary way to... honestly, if you could epitomize a Devin Leary game, this was the way he should end off his probably football career, unless he heads off to the XFL, or the UFL, excuse me. It is the UFL now, as that was announced yesterday. Shout out to The Rock. 306, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. All right, 300, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. That's the most Devin Leary game possible, and that is how Leary ends off. It wasn't enough. Ray Davis, you wanted it. We've seen Ray be great so many times this year. Maybe they should have tried to, incorporate him more or whatever it was, but didn't work out for whatever reason. just didn't fall their way. I think Clemson's defense did a really good job at front seven. Still has a lot of talent. They did a great job containing Davis in this game. 8 sacks of Cade Cunningham, all right? They got to work on that offensive lineman. Cade was getting beat up in this game, but he had a warrior mentality, and hey, got it done off of 4 touchdowns. Clemson wins a shootout in the fourth quarter to claim the Gator Bowl. The Cotton Bowl was the complete opposite of the game we just talked about. I mean, the complete opposite. Ryan Day has to have the greatest winning percentage for any coach on the hot seat in the history of the world. Okay? The man has lost single-digit games in his regime, yet he is on the hot seat right now. And honestly, you know, I wouldn't advise, like I said, you know, after they lost to Michigan again, I wouldn't advise firing him because Lord knows I know as a USC fan, and you can ask Nebraska, you can ask a lot of people, Texas before they got back, what happens when you fire a good coach and you can't replace him with another good coach? Because, yeah, listen. Maybe he shouldn't be the play caller or whatever it is, but I don't know if I advise it. But he's on the hot seat for sure. Mizzou gets the win 14-3 in a straight-up defensive battle. Okay? Cody Schrader is the only 128 and a touchdown. By the way, shout out to Cody Schrader. We've said it before. I made a whole TikTok post for him, so if you come from TikTok, you know I've talked about Cody Schrader there before. He's one of the premier backs. All right, one of the premier backs in college football throughout the year. Shout out to Cody. He was, a phenomenal story going from D2 to D1 and excelling the way that he did. Yeah, just a phenomenal year for Cody Schrader. He finished off great as well. Really looking like Mizzou's best player besides, some of the defensive performances we have for them in this game. They had 10 TFLs. 10 TFLs. Of course, the headlining story was Devin Brown was getting the start. As McCord, of course, as we know, transferred away to Syracuse. So Devin Brown's getting the job. And then he gets injured on the first possession. So Lincoln Kineholtz has to come in. And he ain't ready at all. So now we're looking at, please, can Aaron Nolan come in early? Can he play in this game? Because Ohio State looking dire at quarterback despite having all the talent in the world at receiver. Dire. Okay, dire. Nolan better be that guy or they will be looking at a Will Howard or a Cam Ward in the transfer portal. Pressure. They did. That Mizzou defense was lights out in this game. They came to play. All right, they came to play. Ohio State's offense dire. Ohio State's defense spectacular, and we hadn't said that in a while. All right, we have not said that in a while. It was very much so Tressel ball at the worst, at the absolute worst. Ohio State ends with a whimper. Mizzou gets the win and claims the Cotton Bowl. Peach. The Peach Bowl. Ole Miss and Penn State. Could Penn State get it? No. Ole Miss gets the win, 38-25. And this was once again a similar game to Arizona and Oklahoma, where the score makes this look a little bit closer than it really was. Penn State, oh boy. You know what? Let's talk about Ole Miss first. All right, let's talk about Lane Kiffin doing work. They got Walter Nolan in the transfer. Ole Miss looking great. Looking like a preseason top 10 team heading into the offseason. Jackson Dart's going to be back. He had 379 and 3 touchdowns in this game. QJ is going to be back, 106. He also had a 14-yard receiving touchdown in this game as well. Caden Priscorn, I don't know if he's going to be back, but he had 10 receptions, 136, and 2 touchdowns. He balled out. Trey Harris, probably going to the league this year, though. 7 receptions, 134. All right, Ole Miss, whew, mwah, beautiful. All right, beautiful. A clinical offensive performance against a really good Penn State defense. However, Penn State did lose Manny Diaz, lost their defensive coordinator, playing without Chop Robinson, so things we have to account for, but that Ole Miss offense was functioning the way that we thought this Ole Miss offense had the potential to do, so credit where credit's due to that Ole Miss. Credit where credit's due, all right? Credit where credit's due. Penn State, though, it's not looking great for James. Again, it's similar to the Ohio State situation, honestly, but on a much kind of less level, because even Ohio State's been more, and that's one of the problems with Penn State, is that they can't beat good teams. They can't beat, really good teams. They can't be the elite. Like, Penn State is stuck in this well of good to very good, but they cannot be great. Franklin, for whatever reason, cannot elevate this team into greatness. They're good, They're a top 15 team, but they are not an elite team. And that has been the problem, and I don't really know how to fix it. It's a problem we see here again, because they still had a lot of talent play in this game, play in the Peach Bowl, and couldn't get it done. Couldn't beat Ole Miss. So, I don't know how we go with that, but we'll see what happens. Breaking news, by the way, since I just mentioned his name, Cam Ward just declared for the draft. Boy, Will Howard is about to get a bag. All right? Will Howard is about to get a bag. And with that said, that brings us, of course, to what's going on, to what will be going on by the time. The episodes usually drop at like 5:30, right? So, we'll be 30 minutes into the first of these games. All right? And it's the game that everybody's talking about. Of course, that's Michigan and Alabama in the Rose Bowl. All I'm saying is Alabama better do exactly. I'm standing on business. All right? I'm standing on business. Okay? I'm standing on it. All right? Bama, you better blow them out. For all the talk and all the praise and all the... Bama deserves this, especially after the Florida State-Georgia game, which honestly is not really worth me even talking about on this podcast because we all knew how that was going to go, and that went exactly how we thought it was going to go. Y'all better blow them out. I don't want a one-score, 7-point... No. You're Bama, right? Like I said, you better blow Michigan out tonight. You better blow them out. Much less lose. If you lose, I might make another episode and I'm just going to have Can't Tell Me Nothing by Kanye West just run. I'm going to just sit here in this chair like this and let it run. Y'all better win this game. Y'all better win this game by a lot. Okay? Now let's talk about, let me take my feelings out of it. Let me talk about the actual game, yeah? All right. Should be a really good game, nonetheless. Bama, once again, has, for the most part, been very good down the stretch. Of course, they've had their moments like Auburn where they had no business winning that game. But, for the most part, just beat Georgia. Then, of course, it's Nick Saban. Okay? More than it's really Alabama or even any of the talent. Because I don't really think they have a talent advantage in this matchup. They have Nick Saban. He's been here. He's done that. He's won more national championships than any other head coach. He's the GOAT. Right? He's the GOAT. That's a difference maker for Alabama. And one of the reasons why you could think, Bama could win this game. Jalen Milroe, of course, is one of the keys for this game for Bama. All right, straight up. Michigan has a really good defense. They have a really good secondary. All right, they have a really good secondary. Will Johnson is going to be a very high pick. A very high pick in a year. A very high pick. One of the best cornerbacks. They got Sandstrom. This defense can go. Undoubtedly, they can go. Milroe is going to be the key. All right, they need good Milroe. We need the coin to be on heads or tails or whichever one is the good one. Okay, you need good Milroe in this game. You need Milroe that you saw down the stretch. He has to be who people are claiming Jalen Milroe is. If Jalen Milroe is, if the coin flips and two faces on tails and it's not good, if Milroe reverts back to the earlier Milroe we saw in this year, it's going to get ugly. You cannot turn the ball over against a Michigan team that can control the clock the way that this Michigan team can. Because Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, we've seen them before. They can take over a game, right? We can take McCarthy, who's going to be healthy in this game, by the way, having that month off. You just roll with them. They can roll with them and control a game, right? As they call it, choking the ferret, right? They'll gladly do that. They will gladly do that. Now, on that side, with that Michigan offense, Bama, this is probably your best, right? Because you have the front seven to potentially contain that. And, hey, say, I'm going to force J.J. McCarthy and Roman Wilson and the rest of this passing attack, this receiving corps, Lovelace. We're going to force y'all to beat us, right? We're going to go head-to-head and say, you know what, our secondary is better than your weapons, right? With Caleb Downs and Terrion Arnold, you can kind of do that. Kool-Aid McKinstry needs to have a good game. I'm not going to lie to you. I've slandered Kool-Aid. I'm not going to do it right now. He's a very talented player, but he needs to show up. He needs to be cornerback one, or whatever they're claiming Kool-Aid to be. Kool-Aid needs to be Kool-Aid in this game. Because if he's Kool-Aid the way that I've seen Kool-Aid play this year, oh boy. Once again, going to get ugly. But this Alabama defense is suited to play very well against this Michigan offense. So we'll see what happens. Honestly, I'm not going to make a prediction because it's too much caught up. I don't want to do reverse psychology on either team. So I'm not going to make a prediction for this one. But Should be very, very interesting. And of course, we'll see. It'll be happening when you're watching this or after you've watched it. We will know. And like I said, if they lose, if Bama loses after everything we've said to each other, all right, Bama fans, it's not gonna be a good. It's not gonna be a good day for you tomorrow. All right, that's all I'm saying. It's not gonna be a good day. You might see another episode, 178.5. All right, just to talk about Bama. Okay. The Sugar Bowl. Texas and Washington, which honestly, as much as everybody's talking about Michigan and Bama, this is the more interesting matchup in my opinion. I think it's a very balanced matchup. We get to find out if Texas, they're back, but are they really back? Are they really back, right? Is Quinn Ewers that guy? He looked like that guy against Oklahoma State, but against Washington with Muhammad and the great pass rush they have, with the playmakers they have, someone in that secondary. Not that Texas doesn't, have the talent on that offensive side of the ball to combat that, because boy, oh boy, do they do. Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, Jatavion Sanders. Are they really back? Is Quinn Ewers really who Quinn Ewers was supposed to be coming out? We're going to find all that out, okay? Going to be very interesting. Big matchup for Penix, by the way. He's fallen by the wayside. Didn't win the Heisman, right? A lot of the talk is cooled on Penix. He did not have a great stretch to end the season. He wasn't the Michael Penix that we hyped up early on in the season. Struggled a little bit. He needs to have a good game. This Texas defense is very good. All right, a very good Texas defense. He needs to show up. If him, Rome, listen, and it's pretty simple. Don't do too much. Get it to your playmakers. Rome's going to get open. We know Rome's going to get open. Polk will probably find a way to get open. McMillan, all of them. The three Musketeers, they gonna make some stuff happen. Even as good as this Texas defense is, they going to make some stuff happen. They going to find some holes. Just get it to them. Make the game easier on yourself. Get it to DJ. Dylan Johnson, he's got to get that run game going. If this Washington offense is rolling, even against Sweat in that Texas defense, changes the game for Washington. Could be a very good day for the Huskies. All right. Texas, other way around. Like I said, defense has to show up. You have to contain Penix and that passing attack, and you cannot sleep on Dylan Johnson because he has hurt teams countless times throughout the stretch at the end of this season especially. He has come up big time, multiple games over 100 yards. And like I said, Quinn Ewers has to be Quinn Ewers. All right, it's time. It's time. That perfect recruiting ranking needs to show up. A.D. Mitchell is clutch. He's been here, done that. He's going for back-to-back national championships. Xavier Worthy, it's time to find out if you're worthy. All right, Jatavion Sanders, you got to show up. Run game, Baxter, got to show up. You got to show up. This is the game. Going to be very interesting. I think it's the more intriguing matchup. We will see what happens, like I said, though. Should be very fun. College football playoff is here. Bama, y'all better win. NBA, all right, the National Basketball Association. We talking about hoops. The Pistons made history this week, as they did, in fact. Despite their best efforts, despite Cade Cunningham's best efforts, can't really say much for the rest of y'all minus Jalen Duren. Despite his best efforts of going absolutely nuclear the past couple weeks, or really the past week, all right, the past 5 games, he's been unbelievable. The Pistons still break the record for most losses, taking that away from the Cavs and the Sixers. 28 straight losses, but that is where the record will stand because, ladies and gentlemen, as of 2 days ago now, oh my gosh, the Pistons. The Pistons broke the streak, and of course, it is to the Toronto Raptors because the Raptors sold their soul for that championship. Boy, oh boy. 129 to 127. Cade Cunningham had 30 and 12. Jalen Duren had 18 and 17. Pascal had 35. Schroeder had 39. Gary Trent Jr. had 24. But that bench did absolutely nothing. And like I said, the Pistons wouldn't be denied. Cade wouldn't be denied. Listen, honestly, everybody except for Cade and Duren should be up for grabs on that Pistons team. You can say maybe Asar can stay, but like it's just even Monty can go too. All right, because you lost 28 straight games. I can't defend that. The Pistons talent level is not even that bad. All right, I mean they have issues. They have no spacing on that team, and Cade really has to do what Cade is doing and play like a superstar for them to win games. But all the same. Congrats to the city of Detroit, by the way, on the Wingstop. But like I said, all the same, you gotta do better. All right, you gotta do better with what you have. Y'all should not have lost 28 straight games. That's asinine. But hey, got the record, and now you're playing a lot better. Cade seems to have broken out, so maybe some positives come out of this for Detroit. Speaking of the Raptors, though, it wasn't a great week, depending on how you feel as a Raptors fan. You lost to the Pistons, and then you traded OG Anunoby and Precious Achiuwa for your favorite son. The favorite son, former Maple Jordan candidate, R.J. Barrett, is coming home. He's coming to the Six. Yes. R.J. Barrett traded from the Knicks alongside Emmanuel Quickly for, like I said, Precious and OG. We will see. All right, we will see. It's an interesting trade stylistically, but we will see how it blends. Maybe R.J. really breaks into the player a lot of us once thought he could be, during his high school and college years. Maybe he breaks out now that he's back home. I think it's a pretty cool story for him. Knicks, I don't really rate the trade, to be honest, for them, losing RJ and IQ, but we'll see what happens. All right, we will see what happens. But yeah, Pistons, y'all took the headlines, and congratulations. Cade Cunningham's a star, and y'all might be back on track. We will see. Lakers, by the way, are down horrendous, but Lakers, I will spare you. I will spare you here in the new year. That is my New Year's present to you. I will spare talking about you. Entertainment, ENT, Reachers, episode 5. Yep. Neagley, Dixon, and O'Donnell. It was really, honestly, we were just getting more of the crew. Alright, honestly, in this episode. It was just more of the crew trying to find AM. Alright, who I guess that's how we're kind of referring to him. He went through a different alliance. We saw him working with Langstrom. However, very interesting enough, that relationship seems to be a little strange. Or estranged, excuse me. So yeah, could be some betrayal there. Could see where that happens. Very interesting to see what happens there. Please let none of the big four, though, Reacher, Neagley, Dixon, O'Donnell, die, even though all of them are giving me death flags. Except for Reacher, of course, because he can't die because he's the main character. But, yeah, they're all giving me death flags, but we'll see what happens. The funeral scene was very interesting, just kind of hearing more about Franz and Swan and the whole team. Like I said, I've enjoyed this season, kind of getting more backstory on, Reacher, how he became, and, his relationships with the team. So, yeah, very interested to see where we go. But it wasn't necessarily a filler episode, but it was one of those nice transition episodes, how to get the narrative to the next place. That's what it was. Served its purpose, all right? Music, of course, it was New Year, so nobody's really dropping anything to end the year. AJ Tracey did drop Wifey Riddim 5. Wifey Riddim 5. It was Heat. So, yeah, shout out to the boy. Anitta and Peso Pluma dropped BELLAKEO. That was fire, alright? Now, listen, it's Anitta, alright? Wifey. And you know what? I've listened to a little bit of Peso, but that's not really too much of that, Mexican traditional is not too much. I'm more on the reggaeton side. But, yeah, they did the thing on that. That was fire. Envy was fire. Their performance was hilarious for TikTok, where Peso had to, stay loyal. Even though Anitta was throwing it back. He's a better man than me. But, yeah, that was fire. So, yeah, BELLAKEO, Wifey Riddim. Very overseas on the music part of the segment today. But, yeah, those were fire. Give the cosign from me. Go check them out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Week 17. All right, Week 17 in the NFL. And boy, oh boy, there's no Monday night game, so we get to talk about the NFL segment in full. This should be fun. All right, and it was fun. It was a very fun week. All right, it was a very fun week for a lot of teams. It was also not a very fun week for some of y'all, and let's talk about it. First off, we're starting on Thursday. The Browns and the Jets. Browns get the win 37-20. The Joe Flacco assance continues. All right, that's the summary of this game. Simply put, the Joe Flacco assance continues. 309, 3 touchdowns for Flacco. Who would have thought? I clowned, okay? I can admit when I'm wrong. I was like, really? Flacco? I was like, they went got Flacco. Why did they get Flacco? This is why they got Flacco. And honestly, he has done wonders for that thing where Brady was like, yo, I see a lot of mediocrity in the league. Here's one of the quarterbacks from Brady's era, Flacco. Thought he was washed. He's balling right now. I mean, balling right now for the Browns. Got them in a really good situation, commanding that North. So, yeah. Credit where credit's due, man. Flacco, he's balled out. And yeah, I didn't really expect that. I don't think anybody really expected that. But he has done bits, and against a Jets defense that, has given quarterbacks some struggles throughout this year. He played a very good game. So yeah, shout out to Flacco. David Njoku as well. 6 receptions, 134. Any other standouts before I close this up? Not really. Sione, though. Shout out to Sione. 16 tackles in this game, so that's a little shout out. Ronnie Hickman had a pick 6, but yeah, Browns get it done. How about we talk about them Cowboys? I get what Dan Campbell is. I really do. I trust me. I understand what Dan Campbell is trying to do. I'm here for it. Not just because we won the game. By the way, the reffing was god-awful in this game. The horrific reffing in this game. But like I was saying, I get what Campbell's trying to do. I get the culture, and I think it makes sense. But you got to take what they're giving you. You got to take sometimes what the game is giving you. I get going for glory. The NFC North is yours, right? The Lions, we weren't expecting them to be this good, to be contending the way that they are. So it's almost like they're playing with house money right now. It probably feels like, Lions fans, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It probably feels like you're playing with house money a little bit with how good the team has been this year. I mean, even after this loss, you're 11-5. But in that 2-point situation, listen, I get going for glory I'll say even the first 2 times. But that third time, just kick the extra point. My brother, you're backed up, just kick the extra point. Take the extra point, go to overtime, give yourself a chance. I get the belief in your team. I get it. But sometimes Campbell, and I think this is the second time he's done this year, and I think he's done it last year as well. You just got to take what the game is giving you. You got to live to fight another day. You don't have to go all out. You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. And Campbell, they got to figure that out in Detroit. But they did a great job. I mean, going back and forth. The Cowboys, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Cowboys fan, we're one of the best teams you can dare say the NFL. I mean, even though it doesn't feel like it, but certainly one of the best in the NFC this year. Currently leading in the NFC East. We'll talk about that, Eagles fans. Can't wait. But, yeah, the Eagles went toe-to-toe and had a chance at the end. Didn't work out their way. Reffing, you can call whatever. Same thing for us. Because we really should have wound up the time. But it just, all right. Reffing was all over the place in this game. It wasn't great. Dak had 345 and 2 touchdowns. A little bit of a get-back game. But CeeDee Lamb, bro. All pro. 13 receptions. 227 and a touchdown. ARSB did his thing as well for Detroit. 60, 90, and 1. But, yeah, CeeDee is that guy. All pro, that boy. He is. I mean, he broke the receiving yardage record, by the way, for the Cowboys in this game. But just the way he has grown into that number 1 receiver, what a draft that ends up being for us with Micah and CeeDee in that first round. Has to be one of the best first rounds the team has ever had in terms of getting multiple picks. Just both of them to hit the way that Lamb and Parsons have hit. That's been glorious for us. Aiden Hutchinson was a menace. He had 3 sacks. Listen, the star showed up in this game. All right, the star showed up in this game for both teams. Even though Goff struggled, and even though we definitely need a new running back, or at least another running back alongside Pollard, despite all that, still it was a very good game. Despite the refs, it was still a very good game. And like I said, Detroit, Campbell, I get what you're trying to do, but come on, you gotta live to fight another day. Sometimes that's all you gotta do. Oh boy, I heard I forgot her name, but honestly, she's gonna lose relevance after the next week. She deserves it after what she said because it was racist as hell. I heard Lamar Jackson's not quarterbacky enough. That was word on the street, is that Lamar Jackson's not quarterbacky enough, which is ridiculous. And, I wonder after 18 for 21, 321 yards, and not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 is he quarterbacky enough now? After 5 touch, is he quarterbacking enough? Is that good enough? That's my only question. Is that good enough? The Ravens, by the way, are the head honchos of the league. After butchering the seemingly invincible 49ers last week, they come back against the Miami Dolphins, who a lot of people at some certain points of the season have claimed to be the alpha dogs of the AFC. What did the Ravens send Harbaugh and MVP Lamar Jackson? Which after this game, I feel like I got to give it to him. Even though his numbers aren't great, this isn't a great year for the MVP. So he's earning it right now down the stretch against these top teams. What did they do to Miami? 56-14. Or excuse me, 56-19. My bad, Miami fans. 56-19. Destroyed Miami. They ran them off the field. Lamar went ballistic against his hometown team, went absolutely one of the best performances from a single player this year. It was dominant. Simply put, dominant. Zay Flowers, of course, a lot of this was that 75-yarder, but still, 3 receptions, 106 and a touchdown. OBJ had that insane catch. Isaiah Likely carried my fantasy team. 2 receptions, 42 yards, and 2 touchdowns. All right, cooking. All right, they were cooking. Defensively, cooking. Kyle Hamilton, you are that guy. Roquan Smith, that one-handed interception, ridiculous. Isaiah Likely, one-handed catch to follow that up for the TD, ridiculous. All right, this was the most complete game I've seen from one team this season. That includes those San Fran dominant performances. This was incredible. All right, this was incredible to watch in real time. Baltimore dominated. Lamar dominated. And better yet, their defense dominated. They looked like Super Bowl favorites in this. They cemented that. They looked very much so like a complete team. Not only can they run the ball, but Lamar said, hey, I can spin it as well. And that defense, oh yeah, against an explosive offense like the Dolphins, right? Against Cheetah, Waddle, Tua, who are having a great year, A-Chain, we've seen get off on teams. We're going to shut all that down. We're going to shut all that down. Tua goes 237, 2 picks. A-Chain had over 100 yards. Credit where credit's due. A lot of that's that 45-yarder break-off he had. But no TDs. Cheetah held in check. Great performance. I mean, a great performance, and in my opinion, the most complete team performance we have seen from one team this year. Shout out to the Ravens. They are the premier team in the NFL right now. I mean, I guess we can say it officially now, ladies and gentlemen. The rumors about the Buffalo Bills' demise were untrue. They were very much so untrue because, ladies and gentlemen, the Bills have found a way. Where there's a will, there's a way, and they had a lot of will. I mean, it was not looking good. I think they were at 500, right? We talked about, man, the Bills were just not that great. But they have turned this thing around. Credit where credit's due, Sean McDermott and that team, they have turned this around. Now, they beat the Patriots, all right? It's the Patriots, all right? The Patriots aren't very good. They only beat them by 6. But a win is a win. Like I said, really, I could have said this for the Cowboys and Lions game, survival. It's the winter months of the NFL. This is about survival. That is all that matters. And the Bills have survived, and now they're 10-6 and have set up a AFC East championship matchup against the Dolphins to end the season. So yeah, credit where credit's due. All right, Josh Allen didn't play a great game. Bailey Zappo threw 3 interceptions, and you ain't gonna win a game like that. So yeah, credit where credit's due to the Bills for getting it done and just for being resilient throughout the season. Of course, we'll probably talk more in depth about them when they play the Dolphins with the divisional title on the line. How often do we get a divisional championship to end the season? By the way, none of the teams really have any reason to, maybe Baltimore could, but everybody has to play players next week, so we don't see that too often in the NFL, but that is what we got this year, so that's pretty cool, I will say. Pretty neat. Nobody's really going to be sitting out next week, so yeah, Bills set it up. The Bears, it was a great week. It was a great week for the Chicago Bears. Not only did you beat the brakes off of the Atlanta Falcons 37-17, with Justin Fields going 268 and a touchdown. I got to get the rushing yards as well. Hold on. 45 and a touchdown as well. Yeah, that's over 300 yards yet again and 2 touchdowns. So yeah, shout out to Justin Fields. I've said it before. I will say it again. He has his moments where it's like, hey, maybe we can replace him. But honestly, I don't think Justin is the problem. Okay? I don't think they need Caleb, even though they have the number 1 overall pick thanks to the Carolina Panthers. We will talk about that. But I don't think they need Caleb necessarily. I don't think he'd do them, that much better. So, yeah, I think they'd be all right without him. I think Justin's doing just fine. Could be better, but I think once you get some weapons and some protection, some stuff, some more things to help him out, I think he'll be okay. I think he can still be a star. Khalil Herbert, by the way, 124 and a touchdown. He was the running back flavor of the month for the Bears. And of course, he is no longer on my fantasy team, so he went off. DJ Moore, 9 receptions, 159 and a touchdown. He has been worth every penny. Gervon Dexter, by the way, had the best game of his rookie season, 1.5 sacks in this game. He was giving the Falcons issues in the interior, which the Bears defense will love for their future. Tyreek Stevenson had 2 interceptions. They picked off the Falcons 4 times in this game. Desmond Ridder got picked off. Heineke got picked off 3 times in this game. Yeah, it was rough. All right, besides that Algier run, it was rough. Shout to the Bears, though. A great week for Chicago. Seth Rollins can love football for at least 1 week. The Colts take out the Raiders 23-20. The Raiders just ran out of time. All right, they ran out of time. This was a back-and-forth game, especially in that fourth quarter. Raiders made a little bit of a comeback, or tried to make a little bit of a comeback, but like I said, ran out of time. Young got injured in this game, but still was able to come back. Please give this man some help. He's getting killed out there. He got sacked 6 times. He might be the most sacked quarterback, I think, in the league, by the way. Was David Tepper throwing a drink at the Jaguars fan from his box? It ain't good. It's just not good. It's not good for the Panthers right now. It has been a season. Listen, Panthers fans, and I know a couple of y'all are so resilient. All right, y'all are so resilient. The same way the Bills are resilient, and hopefully your resilience pays off the same way that the Bills' resilience pays off eventually. Because it's not fun right now. All right, your owner seems to not know what he's doing. Okay, your team sucks. You sold your future, lost on a 1 overall pick, even though you got it by being the worst team in the league this year. Your franchise quarterback that's supposed to be is getting killed. It's just not been fun at all. All right, it's just been a season of struggles. Prayers, all right, prayers to y'all because it has not been easy. Jaguars finally had no choice, by the way, in this game but to start C.J. Beathard because Trevor Lawrence was on his last legs. All right, this is your fault. This is your fault. As I said, the past 4 weeks, you should have sent him 4 weeks ago, and he'd be back right now, healthy. Could have been doing well, but now you're 9-7 fighting for a playoff spot. See what you did? See what you did? See what you did, Jags? See what you did? Panthers in pain. Texans get the win 26-3 in C.J. Stroud's return game. He didn't do nothing crazy, 213 and a touchdown, but yeah, that Texans defense just kind of shut down the Titans. Gave them all kinds of fits. Sheldon Rankins got a touchdown this game. Derek Barnett had 6 tackles, 1.5 sacks. 4 QB hits. All right, he was on Tannehill. He was on Levis. He was on everybody. All right, if you were a quarterback and you dropped back to pass, you met Derek Barnett yesterday. And yeah, Texans. Credit where credit's due, man. 6 sacks. 6 sacks in this game. Sheldon Rankins. Will Anderson had 2 sacks. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Derek Barnett, as I said. Derek Stingley got a bunch of tackles in this game. It was a very good game. All right, it was a good come back to life game for the Houston Texans and an important win to keep them, in the playoff hunt at 9-7, taking out a divisional rival. So yeah, credit where credit's due. Congrats to the Texans. Welcome back, CJ. Rams and the Giants. Woo! Underrated. Very underrated classic, which shouldn't have been a classic, but ended up being a little bit of a classic. The Rams hold on by the skin of their teeth thanks to Mason Crosby, which the Giants fans were actually very happy about because they didn't want to mess up their draft strategy currently. Of getting one of the quarterbacks and not keeping Daniel Jones. But Mason Crosby misses what would have been the game winner, and the Rams survive. After Gunnar Olinsky, who has been, I don't even know how he's on a team. I don't know why the Giants picked him up, but I guess this is why. Because he had a 94-yard punt return to make this a 1-point game with 3 minutes and 27 seconds to go. And the Rams started crapping themselves. All right? Crapping themselves. Give the ball right back. Giants get in position. But like I said, Mason couldn't get it to go. And the Rams survive, okay? They survived. They showed the limits of this team, okay? Stafford, who had been phenomenal, near unstoppable the past couple weeks, very much so human in this game. 317, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Kyren Williams, however, had a hat trick, 87 yards. I did not expect him to be this good. He was great. He was very good at Notre Dame. I did not expect his game to translate the way that it has, but then again, Sean McVay is a savant. But Kyren Williams, my goodness, what a surprise he has been. Second in the league in rushing with 1,144 yards. He also has 12 touchdowns, all right? He has been that guy. Kyren has been that guy, so credit where credit's due. Puka had 5 receptions, 118. Kupp had the touchdown, though. Kobe Turner had 2.5 sacks. Aaron Donald had 2 sacks. 6 sacks, all right, for this Rams defense, which kind of helped offset some of that offense kind of keeping the Giants in the game a little bit too long and letting them linger. Tyrod Taylor wasn't bad in this game, played a very solid game, 319, a touchdown and a pick. So, yeah, not bad from Tyrod. But ultimately, it wasn't enough. Just couldn't get it to go. Crosby missed it. Giants get a win in a way of a loss. So, they'll take it, all right? I'm sure the fans will take it. The Cardinals and the Eagles. The Cardinals. Oh, man, I'm so happy about this. Cardinals and the Eagles. Yeah. Everybody, let's just take a moment, all right? Everybody, point and laugh at an Eagles fan. Everybody. Point and laugh at the Eagles fan. All right, everybody laugh at the Eagles, okay? Laugh. Laugh at Drew Walls, a.k.a. Jalen Hurts. Everybody laugh at him. Y'all lost to the Y'all lost to the Cardinals. Y'all lost to the Cardinals, bro. Yeah, y'all lost to the Cardinals after celebrating our demise, or which I thought was our demise last week. Y'all lost to the Cardinals, dog. Y'all lost to the Cardinals. That's crazy. In 2023, you lost to the Cardinals? That's crazy. That's crazy. Couldn't be us. 35-31. Yeah. James Conner went off in this game, okay? Simply put, the boy went off. 128 yards and a touchdown, and especially down the stretch. The man can be stopped, and of course, that beautiful one-hander to win the game. Ooh. We had a lot of great one-handed catches, by the way, this week. Besides that Baltimore game, we also had that Conner. Like I said, that game-winning touchdown. That was gorgeous. Kyler had 232 and hat trick in this game. Like I said, Conner went off. Greg Dortch continues to develop excellently. He's going to take Rondell Moore's spot. All right, I'm not going to hold you. He's going to take Rondell's spot if he hasn't already. Dortch has been explosive for the Cardinals. Definitely a piece that I think they should keep around moving forward. Hurts, by the way, even though I joked and called him Drew Wallace, wasn't bad in this game. All right, he had 3 touchdowns, 167. Under 200 yards again, but still had 3 touchdowns and was very efficient. But as I've been saying, Julio Jones, by the way, had 2 touchdowns in this game, which is still very notable because Julio hasn't done anything this year. And I forgot he was on the Eagles until this game. But, once again, ladies and gentlemen, I come to you and I'm saying please, or don't, because it works better for me as a Cowboys fan, please, Eagles, find some type of offensive variety. Y'all have 15,000 weapons and have the least interesting offense in the league. I mean, you still put up 31. Of course, some of that was that pick 6 by Sidney Brown, which he was the fastest runner, by the way, for y'all in 2 years. But, come on now. Y'all got all this talent, and I feel like it's still not being properly utilized. And it's limiting kind of what y'all could be. I feel like y'all should be on that Ravens, maybe if you want to call the Niners there too still. Y'all should be on that tier, on paper. But it's not connecting. All right, and that offensive game plan, I think, is a big reason why still. So maybe y'all get it together or not. I don't really care, honestly. But losing to the Cardinals is not a good look. And giving up the NFC East to us to basically win and we take it and take the second seed is not a good way to end the season. And y'all's fans are rightfully, and I mean rightfully, upset. So we will see what happens there. But yeah, not a good look for the Eagles. Saints, like I said, nobody wants to win the NFC South. All right, nobody wants to win the NFC South. All right. I saw Fox was talking about Baker Mayfield like it was Tom Brady. I think they actually compared him to Tom Brady before this game. And then he looked like Baker Mayfield. He looked like Baker Mayfield again. Not in a good way. Not in a good way at all. Okay? Nobody wants to win this division. So naturally, the Buccaneers lose this game and fall to 8-8, and now they are tied with the Saints, who I guess have the inside track, but like I said, nobody wants to win this. So they're liable to lose next week, but we will see what happens. Saints get the win. Congratulations. The 49ers take care of the Commanders. No surprises there. This is their get-back game. Purdy gets 230 and 2 touchdowns. Brandon Ayuk joins the great receiving performance this week in your fantasy football championship with 7 receptions, 114 and 2 touchdowns. Sam Howell was a turnover machine, and the 49ers get their get-back. Steelers get the win 30-23 over the Seahawks. This was a very good game. Back and forth. The Steelers, when you don't think they're going to win is when they're going to win, and when you think they're going to lose is when they're going to win. It's ridiculous, all right? It's honestly ridiculous. A game which you might have thought they were going to win. You thought Mason Rudolph was going to come back to earth. Nuh-uh. Nope. This was another game they're going to win. It's weird. Mike Tomlin is one of the greatest ever, by the way. Okay? He clinched. Okay? He clinched another winning season. His 16th. Alright? 16. Insane. One of the greatest coaches to ever do it. Najee Harris had 112 and 2 touchdowns. He had a great game. George Pickens continues to play great down the stretch. Naturally, that he was off of my fantasy team. 7 receptions, 131 for him in this game. And yeah, they're just overpowered. Rarely have we seen the Steelers offense overpower somebody, but that is what happened in this game. Held Geno in check for the most part, 290 and a touchdown. DK had 106, but didn't really get off the way he's been getting off the past couple weeks, and the Steelers get the win, 30-23. The Chiefs were on fraud watch the entire essentially for the Chiefs. All right, this was ugly. Okay, horrendous. They still won the AFC South, by the way, but with this, the AFC West, excuse me, with this win, right? They win the division, but one of the ugliest wins of the year. Okay, and the Chiefs have had a lot of them, but certainly one of the ugliest wins of the year. Harrison Butker saves the day. Travis Kelce might be washed. Rashee Rice is actually developing nicely. So as much as I rag on that, Chiefs receiving corps, Rashee Rice showing life. 5 receptions, 127. Pat was okay. Pacheco really should have just let him go off because he couldn't be stopped. He had 130 in this game. The Bengals are in, flux. Nobody knows what they are. Sometimes they look like the Bengals. Sometimes they look god-awful. All I know is that they don't have Joe Shiesty, so it's not going to be very fun for y'all if y'all make the playoffs. Chiefs, I don't even know if it's going to be fun for y'all because, again, it's all over the place. It was an ugly, disgusting win, but shout out to Harrison Butker with a very Brandon Aubrey this year-esque performance. Broncos take out the Chargers in the game you did not want to watch this week, especially after Russ got benched earlier this season. Or not this season, earlier this week. And shut him down for the season. So, Jarrett Stidham came in, and it went about as well as you would expect. All right, 16-9. You do not want to hear me talk about the Broncos and the Chargers, so I'm not going to bore you with the details. Just know that Denver won. Oh, boy. Vikings. 7-9 feels right for y'all. Because, again, y'all just can't get it together. Now, fair enough, Kirk is injured, but still. Okay? Jair Alexander gets himself suspended because he wanted to be team captain against, again, one of the dumbest things I've seen from a player in quite some time is just walking out there to be the captain when you weren't supposed to be captain just because you felt like you thought you were bigger than the team. Thought, hey, I'm Jair Alexander. I'm from Charlotte. I'm going to be captain. Like, you didn't even, you just was, bugging. All right? But it didn't matter. Okay, it didn't matter because the Packers handled business because Jordan Love is a good quarterback. What else can I say? They did what you're supposed to do. They sat him, he developed, and now they're reaping the benefits. All right, and boy, was it a benefit this week. 256, 3 touchdowns passing. He also had a rushing touchdown. Liberty is doing some dangerous things to Oregon to the right of me currently. Aaron Jones had 120. Melton, new receiver alert for the Packers. They just kind of print those out. Bo Melton had 6 receptions, 105 and a touchdown. Jadon Reed broke all the rookie receiving records, by the way. 689 and 2 touchdowns for him. He was great. They had 4 sacks. All right, 4 sacks of Jaron Hall and then Nick Mullins, who came and took over. Really probably should have started Mullins the entire game, but what do I know? Jaron Hall started off 0 for 4 with an interception. All right, he is not a good quarterback. I hate to say it, but he is not that guy. He is not your backup. Packers, however, they handle business, and Vikings, no clue what y'all are, but we will see. Packers, though, shout out to y'all. Good win. Jordan Love, he is that guy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, we have reached the Roundup. College basketball. By the way, Hannah Hidalgo in Notre Dame lost yesterday, but I need to talk. We talk about Juju, all right, even though USC just lost to UCLA. And we talk about Caitlyn all the time, and she just broke another record. But I want to give Hannah Hidalgo some shine really quick. This wasn't even in my notes, by the way. But she is the only player averaging 23, 6, 6, and 6. That's 3 6s. She's averaging 6 steals a game. And it's not like a fluke early season thing. No, she averages, on a normal basis, is picking people off 4, 5, 6, 7 times a game. It's ridiculous. All right, I've never seen that before in college basketball on either side. So yeah, shout out to Hidalgo because she is a special talent for Notre Dame. If her and Olivia Miles can coexist, then boy, that could be a dangerous backcourt. But what I did have on my notes was Bronny played his best game. He's gonna be fine. Relax. And for all y'all hating, all right. The man came back from cardiac arrest, had a bad game versus Auburn, and he's a bust. He's only D1 because of his father. The classic, there's 50 people at my local high school that can do what he can do. If Bronny went to your local high school, then he would have averaged 40. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. Would have busted. Would have got real ugly. Alright, so calm down. Alright, y'all, it's going to be real ugly when he actually turns out to be a good player. Because what do you know, here against Oregon State, has his best game, drops 15, plays great defense. Alright, he's just not his father, and that's fine. He's running his own race. He's going to be fine. Bronny plays his best game, but USC sucks. Alright? Isaiah Collier is not who we thought Isaiah Collier was. Boogie Ellis is who we thought Boogie Ellis was, and that they have no type of really interior presence that maintains anything. I know Morgan's leading the league in the country in blocks, but there's nothing else really going there. So yeah, USC, Andy Enfield, I don't know if he's gonna make it. Okay, I don't know if he's gonna make it. World Juniors is also going on. I did not get the games. I really probably should have got that for what happened today. But USA and Sweden are cooking right now. They've looked like the two best teams. Canada, this was supposed to be a down year. It has looked like a down year. They lost, by the way, to Sweden. But Macklin Celebrini is living up to the hype of the number one overall pick. So some positives there. I don't think Geeky should have got thrown out for that hit, by the way, yesterday. I think that was crazy. He's 6'5". All right, the kid's big. It was a clean hit. I don't really agree with that, but yeah, Hurricanes, y'all need to get it together, okay? You're stressing me out. Sidney Crosby is scoring a bunch of goals. Who else? Oh yeah, Austin Matthews is that guy. He's looking like he might drop 60 or 70 goals this season. He is cooking. But yeah, World Juniors, we'll talk about more of that in episode 179, potentially the finals. But first episode of the year done and dusted. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys have a great new year. And yeah. Bama, y'all better win. Y'all better win. Ocho, signing off.